Okay, guys, we're gonna go home and I'm gonna show you how we get this boat going. Okay, so you check your motor is level, it's in the water. It could be out of the water because you had popped it out of the water. That would be like this. So anyway, you check the position. I'm pushing this button right there on the throttle to get the motor out. So you don't want it like that when you start it, okay? Because water needs to go through the motor. Also, you don't get any power when it's like that because the prop is not in the water. So we're going to press it, and we're going to go in the water. Once it's level, it's 99% of the cases, we're perfect. Second problem we have when you drive a boat is you are worried about hitting the ground. If you notice, the shorelines are very close. The depth is 3. That's still acceptable for this boat. Oh, I went too fast. We're going to make sure the throttle is in neutral. Neutral is in the middle. You're going to make sure this thing is engaged and hasn't been pulled, because if you pull this thing, the engine won't start. It's like a car. You just go start. Okay, you start it. The throttle is like a moped. Forward, forward, reverse, reverse. Middle is neutral. This boat does not turn well. It's like an 18-wheeler. It's not a jet ski or a ski boat. So it takes forever for it to turn, and you are always oversteering, understeering. So we're going to go, we don't pay attention to the RPM. We do pay attention to RPM. We don't pay attention to the speed. There's no speed limit. We're going to keep it at about a 1,000 RPM, approximately. And we're going to move slowly. This is like a little single engine airplane. You are basically getting ready for takeoff. You will turn the boat to the direction that is you want to go, and you make sure there's water. If we go that way, there's water. You see the big ships? That's where more water is. And if you go that way, you run out of water, you will hit the ground. So let's not do that. You've probably done that already. You studied the map of the area to know where the no-nos are, bad areas that have rocks and problems and shallows. So anyway, we recommend you do that before you go boating in a new water. You will see yellows for shallow in the maps. You always want to avoid the shallows. Now, there are 3 types of shallows. There are boulders, rocks, concrete. Those are destructive to the boat. This material, the white stuff, are like porcelain type. They will get chipped and cracked. You won't sink the boat if you're going slow like this. So whenever you don't know what you're doing, you go slow, because when you hit things, nothing major happens. It might be a scratch only. But if you're going 30 miles an hour, is bad news. You hit solid objects like boulders, rocks. This area is shell and mud and sand. So majority of things, if I hit, are non-destructive, with the exception of some areas where the man has brought in some boulders and rocks and other boats. So avoid those. Uh, just like a regular airplane, you will taxi down the runway. Your runway is miles and miles and miles long. Mine is right now 10, 15 miles long. So once you get it lined up and ready for takeoff, you will let your passengers know that you're going to take off, because their hats will fly off. So I always say your hats will fly off, and advise them to hang on to their hats, or you have to go chase your hat in the water, because this boat will go 40 miles an hour. So 40 mile an hour wind will take your hat off. We don't pay attention to speed. We always pay attention to the RPM. We will do just like the small aircrafts. We will go full throttle. And when you do that, this boat, just like an airplane, will lift out of the water eventually. Boats are either in the water or on the water. So at the moment I'm in the water. Later on, when I'm going 20 miles an hour, I will be on the water, meaning I will be lifted upward about 2 feet, I believe. So I will need less water to move. I'm not going to get stuck as I'm moving. But if I stop and there's, let's say, 2 feet of water, I was on top of the water, now I sink and go in the water, I need more water. I may not be able to take off again. So at this moment, the boat is in the water. Once the RPM goes up, it will be out of the water, on top of the water. And you will notice on takeoff, the front will go up and it blocks your view completely. You cannot see the front, or you can see it partially. This is an open area. It's not a big deal, but in a very tight area, like a river, that's a problem because boats are too close to you. And when that happens, I will slow down and the nose will drop, and I will lower the RPM to 4,000 in opposed to the 6,000 or that I will be going. So we're ready for takeoff, so we're going to go, pay attention to the RPM, not the speed. We're going to go for takeoff, and which is, you want the steering wheel in a position that is going straight. You don't want to turn when you take off. You want to be going straight, so here we go. We're going to take off, full throttle. Okay. I will keep this about 30,000. That's your depth, water temperature, speed. We do not have brakes, so the way we stop is we cut the power, and the friction is so much we come to a halt. If you need additional brake, you will go to reverse. Do not go in reverse till you have gone to neutral and waited for a few seconds, then reverse. Reverse is a lot weaker than forward. Forward I have 140 horsepower, and reverse I say I have 10 horsepower, maybe 20 if any. So you always want to go forward, avoid going reverse. So one more time. We're going to go 1,000 RPM approximately. Now we got a boat coming ahead of us. We will go straight line. We're not going to pay attention to speed. Just full throttle, full RPM. Just like a car, you do not want to push the throttle back and forth. You want to go forward steady and revert backward steady. You don't go boom, off, on, gas, back up, so you don't want to do that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And we will talk to you again. Go fishing, go boating, and you have a good day.